Hi, I'm Melissa. This is my presentation. So I chose the topic about children and cell phones because it actually is really important in my life. So basically, I'm talking about how cell phones and children have a negative output in life. There's a lot of issues with children and having cell phones. Um, so basically, if you ever thought of getting a child a cell phone, like, did you ever think about what can happen when the child has a cell phone at a young age? So basically, of course, um, everybody's going to say, oh, it has good impact on everything. The children can communicate, they can talk with friends, they can play games on it. There's apps that are good for learning, things like that. But there's a downside to everything, of course, and one of the downsides is how is it going to affect the child's life? So my thesis states cell phone use for children should be eliminated due to the negative effects such as cyberbullying causes sleep problems, health issues, obesity, and even affects social skills. Now, the reason why I chose this topic was basically because my son is 8 and I got him a cell phone. And I didn't think it through, obviously, because I found out he was not mature enough. But I noticed that changes in behavior when there's a lot of cell phone use going on. And when he's using the cell phone, he's getting distracted. He's staying up all night. He's tired in the morning. He's getting really bad anxiety lately. He's gotten a temper. And I think that he's having problems socializing and expressing himself because he's so drawn to his cell phone. So I felt that this was something that was really important to me because it actually reflects something going on with my life and my child. Now, of course, I'm going to hear a lot of people state that cell phones are great. They're helping connect with your child. You can locate your child. Your child has something to distract them at times when you're overwhelmed. They have something to play with. They're chatting with friends, playing games, those kind of things. But as I said before, there's a lot of negative feedback about that. And one thing that comes to mind is cyberbullying. So something that I pulled from the library on RCSJ was a statement from the last name Englander was giving a young child a cell phone increases the likelihood that a child will become a victim of bullying or being a bully themselves. Now, this is something that's been going on for a long time as we had technology continue to grow in our environment and society. And of course, the technology is great, it has all these benefits and everything, but look at what's happening. There's increased depression, suicide, anxiety, all because of cyberbullying. And so a lot of people don't realize that that's going on because their child is not speaking about it, and it could be happening to them. And I haven't experienced that myself, but of course it's going on, and people don't really talk about it. There's a lot of cyberbullying going on. A lot of kids are getting text messages from other kids bullying them, saying things that aren't right, being mean to them, and that's what's going on. So a lot of things that I asked about when I was researching this topic was, what is cell phones doing to children? Are they better to have cell phones, or are they better without them? And as I continue to find these things, I noticed that there's a lot of negative feedback I'm getting from children having cell phones. Now, based on all the research that I found, cyberbullying was one of them. And if you think about it, as we continue to give our children access to cell phones, we're allowing them to have exposure to health risks. And those health risks can come from physical to mental. And the mental would be depression, anxiety, and things like that. And physical meaning possibly cancerous. There's radiation going on. And over the years, as children to continue to use cell phones, more problems arise. For example, Cell phone use in children can lead to mental health issues such as anxiety and depression, as I mentioned before. Children who use cell phones are more likely to suffer from health issues. Children under 12 should not be developing these health issues. What professionals are starting to see is when a child is using social media on cell phones, it's a leading cause to mental health issues. It's been stated that the children under the age of 3 who are using cell phones are exposed to radiation and are a major distraction and more likely to have a speech delay. If you think about it, children are focusing their attention on cell phones instead of talking. They're not engaging, they're not playing with kids, they're just so focused on their cell phones that they don't know what's going on around them. So that's a big problem. It's a big distraction what's going on. Now, as I continue to bring things up, the health concerns, not just mental health, but as I said, radiation could be a problem with children and cell phones. Now, people typically don't think about, oh, my children's unhealthy, when they're on their cell phone, but it's been said that cell phone use is being linked to obesity. The kids are not getting outside, they're not playing with friends, they're not doing sports, they're not doing activities that would engage them in physical exercise. Now, that's the problem. If they're just sitting on the phone, they're not getting exercise. And if they're not getting exercise, this is leading to obesity. When people think about cell phones, of course, people are thinking it's great. It's teaching children how to adapt to technology. There are apps out there to help them with brain development. They're teaching apps out there. There's teaching apps out there, and they are communicating with friends. So where's the harm? As we continue to monitor children and cell phone use, we tend to not see as much social interaction going on. Children are no longer experiencing real childhood because they're glued to their cellular devices. They're not going out and playing. They're not playing games. They're not reading books. They're not having family time. They're just so engaged in their cell phone that they're not actually having face-to-face contact. And this can bring some social issues, like social anxiety, social depression. Because if you think about it, I'll give you an example. My son, who is somewhat sensitive, he's on his cell phone a lot, and I'm noticing he's afraid of speaking up. He's afraid of talking in certain situations. For example, he was doing virtual school. When he was doing virtual school, he would come to me when he was confused because he didn't understand. He was afraid of raising his hand and speaking up. Now, this has become a problem. Technology in general has become a problem, but cell phones specifically, because the kids are glued to them, they're texting their friends, they're playing games on them, they're not actually having face-to-face interaction. So most of the time when I notice their friends are over, they're on their cell phones, they're on their iPads, they're not engaging with each other. So it's making it awkward when they actually try to talk to each other. They don't have anything to talk about because they're so engaged with their cell phones. So basically, that's my essay. My conclusion is we need to avoid the excessive use of cell phones in children to eliminate these problems for parents that face with children. Our children need to experience life outside the cell phone use. Without cell phone use, we can also eliminate the social interaction concerns because children would be talking and playing with friends as opposed to texting on their phone or playing games on their phone. It's crucial for children to develop social skills to succeed in the future. Without social skills, we can run into problems such as shyness, depression, anxiety, social awkwardness, and speech delay. Parents need to be more aware of child's speech development and social development. If there's some concerns with their development, cell phone use needs to be investigated. As a parent, we need to look out for what is best for our children. Our children are being bullied. Are they sleeping enough? What about the mental health of your child? There are things that a parent we need to think about. Cyberbullying, sleep deprivation, health issues, obesity, and limited social skills are all tied to the same problem, cell phone use. So I hope you like my presentation. If you have any questions, let me know.